Today I want to encourage a perpetual autosuggestion in a different way. And I want to relate this over to what we talked about on Sunday in regards to suggestion of authority, association, habit, repetition, and imitation. And I also want to tie this into the definite chief aim. Now, this is something that we've spoken about a number of times in regards to Think and Grow Rich. See all areas of your life as in harmony and in contribution to your definite chief aim, and see your definite chief aim as in harmony and in contribution to all areas of your life. And the definite chief aim statement is knowing that you are heading in a direction, and it's something that represents many different areas of your life. I like to link everything over to my definite chief aim in my life, and I like to link my definite chief aim to all other areas of my life. This allows me to maintain focus that is one with that vision, bringing forth a congruence. Now, as a person maintains this congruence, it's easier for them to maintain a flow-based journey to realizing the vision. So let's look at an example of one inspired by Think and Grow Rich. You could say, I earn, and put whatever dollar amount you'd like, which will show up in various amounts from time to time during the interim. You could put a specific date if you'd like, or you could leave it as is. In return for this money, I will give the most efficient service of which I am capable, rendering the fullest possible quantity and the best possible quality of service in the capacity of and I put entrepreneur here, or you could put whatever profession. You could describe the service and merchandise or products that you intend to offer. And we can say, then, I believe that I will have this money in my possession. My faith is so strong that I can now see the money before my eyes. I can touch it with my hands. It is now awaiting transfer to me at the time and in the proportion that I deliver the service I intend to render in return for it. I'm awaiting a plan by which to accumulate this money, and will follow this plan when it is received. Now, so we can tie this into The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, in which he states, as you go on in the certain way, opportunities will come to you in increasing number, and you will need to be very steady in your faith and purpose, and to keep in close touch with the All-Mind by reverent gratitude. Now, the way I like to work with this is relating this over to all areas of my life. And what we'll find is that we can relate these different areas over to our definite chief aim. For example, if we use the one that I just read, which is a business or career goal, we could tie this into our spiritual practices in relation to our goals here in this life and beyond. Such as, for example, recognizing that when you bring forth a definite chief aim, part of it is you learn about yourself. You learn how reality works, and that's one of the most valuable things that we could teach and inspire others to also do the same. Now, financial. A person can learn how to earn money, enjoy a very joyous, lavish lifestyle, or whatever their version is. They could learn how to invest that money, save money. And again, this is valuable information that not only a person develops as far as a skill goes to bring forth a sense of confidence and accomplishment, but this information is also valuable to teach others. Thus ties into social, family, intellectual, and so forth. So when I have a goal like the one I just shared, I see it as related to my social life. I find myself connecting with others that also have similar goals. We engage in dialogue and conversation. We share life experiences, and we find inspiration in each other. Now, this relates over to family because one of the things that I like to do is I like to share what I learn. And I also like to learn from others. And when we're inspiring each other, either through social or family, one of the most concrete forms of inspiration is reference experience that we go through on the journey to realizing our vision. And we pull life lessons and we share it with each other. And that's very valuable. So then we find that these kinds of conversations are brought up more so in family discussions, in social discussions, and so forth. One of the things that also happens on this journey, which is also very inspirational for social and family, is helping them also find their own version of this definite chief aim. Now, intellectual, as a person picks a goal or a definite chief aim and commits to it, they begin to learn about themselves and they learn various skills. We call this capabilities as we reflect upon the Robert Dilts model. They learn how to optimize their behaviors. Maybe they learn how to become more effective with their time, with their energy, with their resources. They might come across certain books or information, and they develop a heightened degree of understanding in the different aspects in relation to their profession. Now, I'm keeping this general because I would like this to be relatable for whatever path that you choose when working with the definite chief aim, the entrepreneurial path, the career path, the artistic path. I see them all as the same, just maybe we put different labels on it, because what's really happening on the journey is this. We have a vision, and we are becoming, as far as expression goes, in relation to our capabilities, behaviors, and environment, that person that's one with the vision. Our values and beliefs in relation to the journey and the destination might be brought to the surface as far as either our reactivity goes, as we talked about, as seeing the journey as valuable as the destination. And then we have the opportunity to make peace with certain thinking patterns if there's disconnect, or we find inspiration from others. We maybe start to adopt their values, their beliefs, as being part of a mastermind, which is a group of individuals that have decided to relate with each other in a way where they can share their insights and perspectives, their ideas in relation to environments, behaviors, capabilities, their values and beliefs. And maybe we can be inspired by them. And we can inspire them in regards to our experiences on our journey. That's a mastermind. Now, I've actually done a discussion on picking masterminds. I'll put a link in the description to that video. We did it a while back. But essentially what we're doing here is we're relating family, social, financial. You can pick goals that are challenging, which will stimulate a heightened degree of creativity. Personally, I like to set definite chief aims that are challenging and perhaps even to some degree considered unbelievable, because we know that we can make the unbelievable believable by simply committing to something and allowing things to show up. Let's tie this into Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles. A very light process he outlines to stimulate this creativity that will bring forth the plans, as was stated in Think and Grow Rich. I am awaiting a plan by which to accumulate this money, and I will follow that plan when it is received. We receive it within. Ideas, hunches, and inspirations show up on the journey to realizing the definite chief aim. So he says, do not bother as to whether yesterday's work was done well or ill done. Do today's work well. So the way I've always worked with this, and I continue to practice this more so, since I discovered the idea of definite chief aim in 2004, and having realized all my definite chief aims, and on the journey to realizing my next definite chief aim, is that I simply show up each day and do the very best I can in whatever it is that I'm doing, whether it be my communications with clients, with team, and so forth. I know that the commitment to whatever it is that I'm doing, done from a place of flow, will develop my capabilities, behaviors, and also bring forth ideas, hunches, and inspirations on how to optimize. In the entrepreneurial journey, we talk about optimization of the different tasks, projects, systems, initiatives. From a meta level, what one can do is optimize, delegate, automate, eliminate in part or in whole in relation to the different tasks or projects, so we can get a more effective workday, higher output, yield. Number 2, he says, do not try to do tomorrow's work now. There will be plenty of time to do that when you get to it. So we focus on the current task that we're working on. And when we've completed that task, we move on to the next, and so forth. We maintain flow, knowing that every day we make a contribution to the goals and the visions. And what we do is we find joy in doing it. We remain consistent, we remain lighthearted, and we transmute energy, as we talked about in last Thursday's video. This transforms our behaviors, our capabilities, our environments. So it'll be one with that self-image, that's one with the vision. And even interesting life experiences that seem to be not related, at least directly, they are indirectly related. For example, physical. I have gotten many insights and perspectives in relation to business from taking up certain physical hobbies like snowboarding, even exercise and running. Some of my best insights showed up while I was at the gym. As a matter of fact, much of the discussion points or some nuances that I include in my videos seem to show up during physical activity. So now we see an example of how the physical areas of our life, fitness, wellness, etc., relate over to our definite chief aim. Now, when the mind is fixed on, and lightheartedly so, this is not done from a place of force, this is done from a place of flow, or at least the way that I recommend doing it, as the mind is lightheartedly fixed on the vision, by integrating what we discuss here in this video and throughout the videos, what we notice is that we seem to meet interesting people. All of a sudden, we meet someone, and they share an insight or perspective. We find ourselves being attracted to certain videos, certain books. And that information that's in that book seems so synchronistically related over to our vision. It seems that the person made the video or the book for us. That level of depth, that level of relatability. That's how we know we're doing this. And so he says, number 3, hold with faith and purpose the vision of yourself in the better environment, but act upon your present environment with all your heart and with all your strength and with all your mind. So we know we are going to get to the destination. We know that we will eventually realize the vision. And so this is where, very similar to the acres of diamonds discussion we had, I'll put a link in the description to that video, we see that everywhere we are, we can find opportunities to develop certain skills, to optimize our behaviors, to practice lighthearted presence with the project that we're working on, the task we are working on. And as a result of doing that, maintaining the flow while we're doing it, as mentioned, we get the anandamide and all the other neurotransmitter releases, thus bringing us into a deep flow, thus experiencing lateral thinking, which is a harmony between divergent and convergent thinking. And through that presence of being engaged in the project or the task or whatever it is, the communication, etc., we will notice that that's exactly where we want to be. And one could say we fall deeper in love with developing the skill, the artistic expression, the communication, the relationship that we are developing. Maybe it's a business relationship, maybe it's a friendship, maybe it's whatever kind of relationship in relation to your definite chief aim, directly or indirectly. Because as mentioned, ideas, hunches, and inspiration can show up anywhere outside of the workday even. Now, this is a way of actually harmonizing everything, making it relatable. And maybe in the earlier stages, one might find challenge in doing this because they tend to segment their life too much. While it's important to find rejuvenation time and to, you can say, separate yourself from your work. It's also important to allow inspiration to show up anywhere, just by simply allowing the ideas to show up, encouraging them to show up. I find that whatever it is that I'm doing outside of my workday, I genuinely want to be there because A, I enjoy those experiences, and B, unconsciously, subconsciously, I know that some way, somehow, this is also related to my definite chief aim. You see, I believe that this can be a profound, transformative style of thinking when it comes to relating with environments, relationships, and so forth. Sometimes a person wants to be somewhere else rather than where they are. They want to be at work, or they want to be with a certain group of friends while they are perhaps with their family or with other groups of friends. When they realize that everywhere they are, there is opportunity, there is sources from inspiration, there is relatability, they find themselves genuinely wanting to be there. They find a deep level of presence there. And although they might not be directly thinking about their definite chief aim, it has been affirmed in the subconscious mind, because by having a definite chief aim and committing to it, we allow reality to unfold to achieve that definite chief aim. So when they're with their friends and their family, they genuinely want to be there. And they know that some way, somehow, it's in contribution to their definite chief aim. And they also know that their definite chief aim is in contribution to the other areas of their life. Now, this is something that the patterns change as we encourage this kind of thinking. So when he says, hold with faith and purpose the vision of yourself in the better environment, we could look at that as subconsciously. And he says, but act upon your present environment with all your heart and with all your strength and with all your mind. So everywhere you go, be present to where you are. Value where you are. There's experiences to be had, there's fun, there's joy, there's learning, and all of it is relatable somehow. We simply encourage this kind of thinking pattern, and we'll start to notice it more so, as I have been noticing it all throughout the years. Number 4, begin to do what you can do where you are, and you must do all that you can do where you are. So this is, again, valuing the environment that you're in, the behaviors that you are expressing, the skills that you are developing in your workday sessions, during your training, and so forth. Because through that depth of presence and really valuing those experiences, you not only get the most out of those experiences, we could say, but you also find that it stimulates the subconscious mind because of, and we go back to the top here, reverent gratitude. Through the experience of valuing where you are, I can assure you, because I noticed this happening with myself all throughout the years, and I've had many conversations with others that have also noticed this. By deep engagement and deep presence with whatever activity that they're doing, they get ideas, hunches, and inspirations. And then they really start to relate things over to their definite chief aim and see their definite chief aim as relatable to everything else, seeing it all as one. And as mentioned, it's this nuance. While we want to segment our day, so we do different things, diversify our day, we also recognize subconsciously that it is relatable to each other. So we value each environment that we're in, even if it appears to be different: spiritual, finance, social, family, intellectual, physical, career, business environments. They are somehow related. We'll find this more so as we continue to work with this information. And number 5, he says, do all that you can do in a perfect manner every day, but do it without haste, worry, or fear. Go as fast as you can, but never hurry. So this is, we could say, harmony or balance. And we'll find that it's easier to do this when we have a definite chief aim, such as the one I just mentioned. And number 2, we allow the inspiration to show up by being present in the different environments and by actually encouraging within ourselves the idea that the different areas of our life, spiritual, financial, social, family, intellectual, physical, are related. And that forms a well-rounded self-image or an identity, which then expresses itself as the values and beliefs and the relatability, the reconciliation of these different areas. As mentioned many times, that one of the goals of the spiritual alchemy process is the inward reconciliation of seemingly divergent and convergent perspectives to bring forth the lateral thinking. This in alchemy is referred to the marriage of the red king and the white queen, or we could say thinking feelingly. Recommend watching the video I did on that recently. Put a link in the description. Now, this is experiential. This is done through the experience of working with what I am proposing here. This has been my experience, and this has been my experience working with others, encouraging this. This is something that we can discuss, and we will discuss in the upcoming videos to greater depths, from different slants, different angles, different nuances. But it's essentially saying the same thing that I have been emphasizing all throughout the videos. Associate, link, form the relationship, recognize the relationship of the different areas of your life being in harmony and in contribution to your definite chief aim, and your definite chief aim being in harmony and in contribution to the other areas of our life. What we'll notice then is that everywhere we go, that's exactly where we want to be. We'll also find then a deeper relationship, or establishing a deeper connection, because I believe the connection is always there, a deeper relationship with our intuition. And we'll find ourselves in certain experiences, connecting with people. Interestingly, like how I brought up in Sunday's video, I recommend watching it, in ways that we could say don't really make sense. How did we meet this person that seems to be such an ideal match to the vision, or some key insight that we're looking for some bit of information, and that information seemed to show up in an interesting way. You'll notice this. Seemingly random conversations with people will be full of insights and perspectives. Because I say this, people reveal what's within ourselves, and they also reveal the ways to achieve our goals. I believe that we are in harmony and contribution to their goals, and they are in harmony and in contribution to our goals. The same is to be said about then having hunches and inspirations to go to certain environments. I'll share a personal experience and a story in regards to working with the information as far as relatability to your definite chief aim, and your definite chief aim related to everything else. So it was at the end of the winter. It was when I was done the snowboarding season. And what happened was I was driving back, and I was ready to book another place to stay. But I had a hunch to just fly to Vegas, just like that. Thinking to myself, I just want to go. And this felt like a very deep, intuitive nudge. Did not feel like impulse at all. I can feel the difference between my intuition and something that is more impulsive. I segment it and I say intuition, I can feel it a certain way. This is a result of building this relationship with ourselves. We're able to understand our intuition. And so I booked this flight, and then what ended up happening was everything ended up coordinating in this really harmonious way. I dropped my stuff off in storage, I booked the flight, I ended up having to coordinate health tests and things like that so that I can get on the flight. Landed in Vegas, and I actually booked the hotel while I landed in Vegas. And, I was wondering why I was down there, but not really, because some way, somehow, it always leads to the definite chief aim. And I actually ended up meeting someone and making friends who ended up connecting me with so many people in Vegas and said, look, whenever you're down here, I would like to introduce you to this person and that person and this person and that person. And she knows so many people in Vegas. And I always say this, and I said this in my last video as well on Sunday, that you could meet someone and they could open up so many doors. Now, it's also in harmony and contribution, because I also had some information that she was looking for. So we can see then how this stuff works. When we actually believe that things in what would seem as unrelated areas of our life are actually related, we actually open up more doors of harmony and connectivity to allow these things to happen. So I trust you found this video to be helpful and encouraging, which is another reason why I always recommend having a definite chief aim and linking it to the different areas of your life, finding relatability, and actually affirming that relatability. For example, I'll say, when I had this one experience in my life, it was related, such as the story that I just shared about going to Vegas. It was related in this way. I didn't know that it would play out that way, but it played out that way. But that relationship could end up playing out in different roles as far as business deals and partnerships and so forth at a later stage, such has been the case of many relationships that I've built in the different stages of my entrepreneurial and business journey. I met some individuals, and then a few months later or years later, we ended up doing deals together or connecting with each other in a way that really was a result of valuing each of the experiences on the journey, and then all of a sudden an idea showed up. Because I believe all minds are connected at a subconscious level. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's go ahead and encourage it in relation to what was shared by Science of Getting Rich, relating our definite chief aim to all other areas of our life at a subconscious level. We can say, I realize that everywhere I am, the work that I do, the tasks that I perform is exactly where I need to be. And through deep presence and valuing the experience of the task and project, ideas, hunches, and inspirations are brought to the surface from areas outside of the task as well, such as in my relationships with my family, social, intellectual pursuits, spiritual practices, and even the physical areas of my life. As I find the relatability with these different areas, I'm able to understand and see how they are all one. Thus, everywhere I go in these experiences, I hold with faith and purpose the vision subconsciously of myself in the ideal, while acting upon my present environment with all my heart, with all my strength, and with all my mind. I recognize that through this process, I'm able to automatically express the ideal behaviors, capabilities, further cultivating the skills and behaviors that are in harmony with the vision, thus bringing me into the ideal environments and interesting connections that allows me to transcend preconceived limiting ideas regarding time and space to bring forth my vision in a flow-based, harmonious, autotelic way. And upon reflection of realizing these experiences, I'm able to encourage this relatability every day with my definite chief aim being in harmony and in contribution to the different areas of my life, and the different areas of my life being in harmony and in contribution to my definite chief aim. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.